particularly, you had a lot of potential first-round guys, but sort of all different ranges too. You have to cover a lot of bases at this point, even away from your picks, maybe.
Yeah. You know, I think all 6 of those guys have a chance to get drafted in the first round. So it was a very good workout for us. You know, as far as when these workouts are scheduled, basically we take the guys whenever we can get them. I think there was a unique opportunity this weekend. A lot of GMs and executives have gone to Europe for the Adidas Hero Camp in Treviso, Italy. So, you know, we took advantage of that and scheduled as many guys as we could. The 12 is the maximum you can have in for a day. So we did 2 groups of 6, and guys showed well. We had 2 pretty good workouts.
Specifically about Rondé, his defense, college defense. I mean, is he maybe able to get on the floor quicker in the NBA because of what he's able to do?
That's usually what I think most coaches look for first at the NBA level, especially from a young guy, an underclassman. You know, Rondé has good body, he's got good length, he's aggressive. I think he embraces that role as a stopper, you know, he's not afraid to take on a challenge, take on a defensive challenge. He feels like he can guard multiple positions. He did that at Arizona. I think he's certainly capable of doing that in the NBA. And, you know, he's also not afraid to talk. He's one of the more loquacious guys we've had in over the past couple of years, even.
How much is his shooting a liability when he can do all those other things? Does that make you pause a little bit, or is that something that he can overcome? Do you think?
Yeah, I think his shooting's it's improved, but there's still some work to do. You know, to be able to play a lot of minutes, I think in the NBA today, you need to be able to make open shots. You need to be able to spot up and make open shots. You don't necessarily need to create the shots, especially if you have unique skills on the defensive end of the floor like he does. But you need to be able to make open shots. So, you know, evaluate him right now. I think he's gotten better, but as I mentioned, there's still some room for improvement.
What does he have to do to get his shot to where it needs to be?
I think, you know, my opinion, probably give it a little more arc. It's a little flat right now. You know, but he's got the strength to do it. He has the desire and ability to want to improve it. But you know, it's a little bit low. But that's not unusual for guys coming out of college. Some of that comes with, you know, added strength, NBA strength conditioning program, teaching a guy how to use his legs a little more and just gets more air under the ball.
When you see a guy like that, you've seen him maybe a lot down the road for a couple of years now, and so you maybe know his game pretty well, I'm guessing. And what do you look for in this that maybe that I don't know?
Well, you know, I think if you go watch Arizona or any college team for that matter, the competition usually isn't what we're able to replicate out here. And what I mean by that is, you know, if you look at the names in the first workout, we had 6 guys at a few different positions, all of whom have chances to be first-round picks in the NBA. So, you know, Rondé's probably matched up against a few of those guys throughout the year, you know, especially in the NCAA tournament. But there are a lot of games when, you know, when he wasn't. So you're able to get that, see how he competes not only against high-level guys at his own position, but when you get switches and cross matches, how he guards guys at other positions as well, and then how he can handle himself offensively, you know, against those different matchups.
How much did Montrez's 3rd season help his game, and what difference does that length make for his height?
Yeah. So he is extremely long, and he's strong. He's very aggressive. You know, and one of the things I guess that we really look at is you know, are a couple numbers. We look at the wingspan numbers, and we look at the standing reach, especially for the big guys, because you know usually they play more kind of up and down, and it's important for blocking or contesting shots. So he's the guy that, you know, you measure him top of his head. I think he's about 6'7" barefoot, which is, you know, a little bit undersized for a power forward. But he's so long and strong and aggressive that he more than makes up for it. So, you know, I think you just see the maturity with him. You see a mature player. You know, he's been very well coached and pushed at a program like Louisville. So, you know, he comes in and takes it seriously. And, you know, I think he embraces the challenge. And, you know, for me, he's the kind of guy that even at a young age will come into training camp with whatever team he's drafted by and not back down. You know, take on a challenge. He'll compete against veteran guys and push them and try to earn minutes right away as a rookie, which I think he's capable of doing.
To be able to have a guy who can provide rim protection and shoot from the outside seems to be becoming a pretty valuable commodity. Do you see Christian Wood as someone who can develop into that type of player?
Yeah, Christian, you know, he certainly got the length and the bounce. He you know, shot the 3-ball decent this year for UNLV. It's something I think he's, you know, just starting to develop. You know, a guy who's that tall and athletic, usually at the lower levels, as you know, they don't have to shoot a lot of threes because they're able to, you know, finish over the top of guys for layups and dunks and what have you. So, He is a skilled guy. You know, I think for him, the body's still a little bit young. He'll need to get stronger. But that is something you look for, guys who can step out in the perimeter, drag their defender away from the basket, make a shot, and then on the other end protect the rim. You know, especially the pick and roll is becoming so prevalent in our game. It helps to have guys clean that up on the weak side. If the initial defender gets beat, to have the help defender come over and turn away a guy at the rim.
His block numbers were pretty good. How good was he positionally, though?
Position defense, you mean?
Yeah.
Solid. You know, like most college guys, you know, they have a lot to learn. You know, in the NBA, obviously the rules are different. The rotations are different. You know, with the defensive 3-second rules, and you know, defense is more sophisticated with the multiple rotations, whether you're gonna you know, hedge, ice, down screens, trap, whatever. You know, the terminology. So that'll be an issue for him, but it's an issue for most young guys, right? But you know, he has the ability to do it. I think he has the desire to do it. So you know, we'll see if he's able to apply all that.
Would a lot more people be talking about Alan Williams if he had played in a different type of program? Is he, the numbers he put up,
Yeah.
pretty efficient in his size and everything too.
Yeah, I believe Alan led the country in rebounding 2 years in a row. Right? He's you know, he's wide, he's strong, he's got really good hands, and he just has the knack for how to use his body. And you know, when you see guys who rebound like that and maybe aren't the most vertically explosive guys, that usually tells you they have a good feel for the game and positioning. You know, he's a guy who does his work early, and what I mean by that is before the shot's going up or as it's going up, he's already boxing out and holding his guy off to get offensive rebounds and putbacks. So he had a very productive career. It's always good to see local guys do well. And you know, I think he is a guy that you know, certainly on the scouting side or the NBA draft Knicks side, the guys who follow closely know who Alan Williams is and what he's capable of. But yeah, I think maybe just because of playing in a smaller school, he gets a little bit overlooked nationally in the process.
What's your thoughts on TJ McConnell? And maybe because, especially since he's not maybe a prototypical NBA point guard, do you see maybe a niche he can carve out or something like that?
Yeah, I think TJ McConnell's the kind of guy that every coach would love to have on his team. I believe he tied a record today for the run. I think over the past 3 years he had 28 3/4 line touches, I guess, after a grueling workout, which is pretty impressive, especially for a guy like TJ. I was just talking to him before I came up here, and he's had a number of workouts. You know, that's usually what guys in this position have to do. They want to get in front of as many teams as possible, and you know, we tell our guys that all it takes is one team. You know, not all 30 have to like you or love you or want to draft you, but you know, you have to stand up to one and make a good impression on one coach, one GM, and get an opportunity. And I think TJ's the kind of guy that teams will want to give opportunities to because you know, he has all the intangibles. He has the leadership skills. He's you know, extremely well conditioned. His team's won a lot of games, and you know, when you're doing the background on a guy like that, every coach he's had raves about him. He talks about you know, how he's one of the best guys they've ever had. So you know, he helped himself today, and I know for him it's you know, probably grueling at this point in the process, but you know, he's one of those guys you have no there's no question in my mind that he'll continue to push himself, continue to do well in these different workouts.
With Nance, any father and son that you saw out there today?
I'll be honest with you, Craig, the father's a little before my time.
I didn't mean that. Just, you know, there's YouTube.
Yeah, I know. From what I know of Larry Sr. and what I remember, you know, some of the vertical explosiveness, you know, Larry Jr. can really leap. He can finish around the rim. He can catch lobs and dunk. You know, so that was impressive today. He's good around the basket. And I think for him, the next step will be developing away from the basket some of the ball handling skills, some of the perimeter skills. You know, a school like Wyoming, I think he was able to dominate more in the paint and finish over smaller guys who maybe aren't as big or as long as NBA defenders. But he's a high-level athlete. I mean, he's the kind of guy that, you know, when you get in a 2-on-1 and the defender helped on the ball handler, you can just throw it up in the vicinity of the rim and he'll catch it and dunk it.
RJ's shooting numbers weren't as good as you would expect for someone with the reputation as a shooter. Was that because of all the additional ball handling, and you think he'll be all right at the next level?
I think his three-point shooting numbers weren't very good from what I remember, or as good as they had been. I believe his free throw percentage was pretty good, and usually that's a pretty good indicator of, you know, how a guy's able to shoot over the course of a 30-plus game college season. Sometimes the three-point numbers get skewed a little bit. He was a pretty high attempt guy, but you know, a hot streak or a cold streak over the course of one season can skew those numbers a little bit. So we don't really have any concerns with him about his ability to shoot the ball. He's done it at a high level for a couple of years. As I mentioned, the free throw numbers are pretty consistently good from what I can remember. He's also a guy who's made big shots and carried a team in the NCAA tournament, so we certainly place some value on that as well.